Well, the book of Judges, there are several places where we read in the storyline of Judges that God's Spirit comes on a particular person to enable them to perform a particular act, usually related to some kind of military conquest, as the Hebrew people have been oppressed and are crying out to God for deliverance. And God raises up a judge and empowers that judge with the Holy Spirit to lead and to bring victory to the people. Well, I like to use the book of Judges to remind our students and myself that God's Spirit is part of the story of the Old Testament. God's Holy Spirit is there and is present and active. Yes, we have Pentecost. Acts chapter 2 is very important, and the Spirit shows up in a new and dramatic way there. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't active prior to Acts chapter 2 and that fulfillment of Joel's prophecy about the outpouring of the Spirit. And so Judges is one place that reminds us that God's Spirit is part of the story, part of what God is doing with his people. The Spirit's there in Genesis chapter 1 as we think about creation. The Spirit is there, I think, in the Exodus. There's a very intriguing passage in the book of Isaiah chapter 63 where it says, God's people grieved the Holy Spirit when they came out of Egypt in their sin and rebellion. Somehow God's Spirit was a part of even the Exodus experience, apparently, that they could grieve his Holy Spirit as they left Egypt and in their doubt and in their rebellion chose not to believe God and to reject that deliverance in a sense, and were destined to wander in the desert, so to speak. So God's Spirit is active and important as we think about what's happening in the Old Testament. And I just think that the book of Judges is a good reminder that the Spirit of God is there, and God's Spirit is part of what God is doing with his people through that Old Testament story.